What's good, y'all? Making the Walk MMA, bad MMA math. We got UFC 300. I guess that's an event that's coming up that maybe some of y'all will pay attention to. I don't know. If you got some free time on Saturday, maybe pop in there and watch it a little bit. But we're going to talk about that, and we got one of our friends on, my boy E Spencer Kite, ESK OG. We're gonna just talk. We're just gonna talk, man. So anybody that's in, pop into the chat. Of course, we're going to bring your chats up. We're going to talk through that stuff, but we're just talking all things UFC and particularly UFC 300. We might talk about some of these new matchups that have been thrown out there that have kind of slid under the radar. So, first things first, Frankie, how are you doing? How are you feeling going into this? This week has been crazy, and it's only Wednesday.
Yeah, it really has felt differently, hasn't it? This whole week has just been it's felt like nothing we've ever experienced before. I know we've had like big events in the past, but this has felt like ever since the last event was over, this has felt like go from as soon as Sunday hit, it was like everyone's focus was shifted, and it's just felt like a special week for that reason. And I cannot wait for this all to get going. I'm so excited.
And then we got E Spencer Kite. If y'all don't know who that is, like I don't know where you've been.
It's fine. You don't have to know who I am.
You should. You should absolutely know who he is. So if you don't know, I mean, go find out. But Spence, you are like always in the mix. You know what's going on. How has this been for you? All the stuff that you have to write, all the things, the conversations, and everything that you have to consume and spit back out into the world. Like, how has it been for you?
It's been like a 2-week build. It's been like a 2 or 3 week build. So I was working on a feature for Fighters Only on Alex Pahea, kind of through the late parts of last month, early part of this month. And that sort of started getting me excited because I had some conversations about, his rise and this fight coming up, and then talked to Eric Nixick about, you've coached against him. What does he do well? What can he still do? That sort of started getting the ball rolling. And the more I'm having these conversations and the more I'm diving into things and sitting down with coaches and talking about the title fights on this card and talking to Jimmy Miller about finally being at UFC 300 and just the crazy journey he's been on. It's just felt like that snowball. It's just felt like that momentum is built and built and built. It's Wednesday and I'm at the point of like, just be Saturday already. Like, I know that Saturday I'm going to be buzzing in a way that I probably haven't for a few cards now. Like 299 was really good. 298 was really good. These were, to me, the 3 best in succession in terms of numbered events. But like 300, just like this show is ridiculous. And I need it to be Saturday. And by about noon on Saturday, I'm going to be bouncing off the walls of my house because I want the prelims to start. Like I want it to be here already.
And you know what's crazy is like, and we were talking about this before we jumped on, is like I'm in Dallas. I'm far away from Las Vegas. I haven't ran into anybody personally that is like, oh, let's talk about this UFC 300. But yet I could still feel the buzz, the excitement, and it's kind of it's interesting that you could feel that, from here. Like I'm interested, like how do y'all feel about it? I mean, are y'all getting that same buzz, where you're at, and just like every day, like it's like, okay, it's one step closer, we're almost there.
Where I'm at, nobody gives a single damn. Nobody cares.
So I do my best.
Feel it from you guys, so that this is making me feel good. So that is
I do my best to interact with as few people in real life as possible. So I don't know what they're thinking, but I have a very good friend. We've been close for 15 years. He was my boss years ago. We're still tight, and he's somebody that like every week he's followed my career, follows the sport. He's a guy that loves watching the fights on like fast forward, just tape them, and on Sunday he watches them and then calls me and is like, "How long did you watch them for?" And I'm like, I hate you so much because you're going to tell me it took you 90 minutes to get through it. And I sat there for 6.5 hours. And for like a month now, he's been asking about 300. When is this one? What is it? Who are the fights? What are the fights? What are you writing? And so like every day this week so far, we've had a conversation where he's been like, it's almost here. Are you excited? And I'm like, dude, you're excited. How do you think I feel? You don't even like, you follow this sport because I'm in it a little bit, which is great. I love it. I appreciate it. But like, if you're as excited as you are to watch these on fast forward on Sunday, imagine how we're feeling. Imagine how those of us that invest in it are feeling. It's crazy. This is what you want, right? Once a year, I would like to have this feeling. Just a monster card. It's usually International Fight Week, but just, and it's nice to have this one feeling this way. I don't know if you guys feel this way. It felt like as 300 was coming together, there was a little bit of like people feeling let down. Like it was, yeah, the card's great, but didn't like the main event, didn't like Zhang Weili, Yan Xiaonan, things like that. Now that we're here, it feels like everybody is smartened up. And it's just like, wait a minute. This is a ridiculous collection of fights. Sure, it doesn't have the, return of Conor or a heavyweight title, but like, this is insane. The lineup on Saturday is stupid. It's stupid good. Every one of these fights could be a main event somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Yeah, we were saying that earlier, weren't we? That any of these fights could have headlined any fight night in the last year and a half, like easily.
Save for maybe Bo Nickel and Cody Brundage, and I don't mean that like disrespectfully. Just like,
if you do,
Bo Nickel's got 2 fights. He's not quite there yet, but like that could be the co-main of a fight night, no problem. And any one of these other matchups could be headlining.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Man, that boy. So I've been watching a little bit of the media day live stream, just a little bit of it, and right now it's like on Cody, at least where I'm at. That's already happened in real life, and I mean, he looks oddly like he looks very focused. He looks ready to go. I don't know, man. I don't trust him anymore. And it's not I don't trust his intentions because I know what he wants to do. It's just it's so unique for a person as young as he is in MMA to be like, I don't think your chin is there at all anymore. Like I don't trust you to go outside when the wind is blowing hard. I don't know, man. I can't see it. I wanted to though. Like I watched the UFC Embedded and I saw him training and stuff, and I was like, look at Cody. He looks good. He really looks good in the gym when nobody's punching back. He looks really good though. But I just can't. I can't get there, man. I can't get there for him.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing, right? Like that's the tough thing, and there's some different people at different stages in their career on this card where it's like you have to have that moment. I talked to Jim Miller about this because I think he's an example of a guy that got to a certain point and was like, well, I'm not that dude anymore. Got to change this up. Got to figure out how to be who I am now. And one of the things we talked about is how difficult that is as an athlete, because you want to believe you're always going to be that guy you were. I think Cody's kind of in a similar spot a little bit. Like he believes and wants to believe that he's just a win or two away, and that guy that styled on Dominic Cruz is still in there somewhere. But like, we haven't seen it since he styled on Dominic Cruz.
No.
We've seen glimpses, I would say. Like I think like the knockout, obviously the uppercut knockout, or the duck down. That was after
from his shoelaces against
Sun Sao.
Against Sun Sao, yeah.
Against the Sun Sao, yeah. That was a glimpse of like what we could see. And the thing is, like, I mean, I know he's had like, I'm a little bit more optimistic about this fight than most people. And again, when we did our breakdown of it, I was ready to go in and say, first round, he's going to get absolutely destroyed. He's going to get flatlined out. And since kind of rethinking about it, having a look at more tape, because I've been doing a lot of that over the last week and a half, I'm optimistic that he's going to not lose that badly. I think is the best way I can put it. I think it's going to be like
a slow sleep. Like
it would be like I think I feel in my heart he's going to survive the 3 rounds. I don't even think it's going to be
Yeah,
I'm feeling it more and more. The more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I think he can. I think he can get to the end of the third. I think he's gonna lose, but
I can see it being like Figueiredo's fight with Rob Font in
exactly.
Austin. Very similar, where I don't think Figs carries the power that he did up to bantamweight. Like one of the things that differentiated him at flyweight is he just had that power.
Mhm.
He doesn't quite have that at bantamweight anymore. And so I think we see more wrestling. I think we see more grappling. We still see the hands, but I don't think he goes out there. Whereas at flyweight, he just went out and he was like, all I need is one. Like, I'm just going to throw smoke every time because if one of these lands, this little fella's going down. I don't think he's got that at bantamweight. And so I can see, I like that call, Frankie. I can see Cody making it the distance
So
and losing
how
out.
can Frankie win though? I mean, not Frankie, not you. How can how can Cody win? Like, what does he have to do? Does it have to be a knockout?
Yeah, he's got to get one of those ones from the shoelaces.
Yeah, I think
Because
he's
like
great.
you look at these two wins, right, that he's coming in on. Trevin Jones was not a lot of activity in rounds 1 and 2. Cody wins them both through just being a little more active, having a good jab. And then he gets clipped once and it's panic mode, make it to the final horn. And then knocking out Boom. Like, I like Brian Kelleher. He's a good dude, but everybody overreacted to that one. Everybody went crazy with that one. And like, Cody's back. It's like, no, he beat Brian Kelleher. Like, I love you, Boom, but you hadn't fought in 18 months, major neck surgery, a dude that's been a 500 fighter in the UFC anyways. We can't go crazy about these.
Yeah, no, not about that one.
You can't. Yeah.
And then they were like, here's Davison Figueiredo.
That's what I said. He asked for it.
He asked for it. Yeah.
And that's the thing of just like believing you're still that guy now. It's like that was the right. I mean, I'm saying Figueiredo's not going to starch him, but there were better call outs to make.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
I made it for him. I told him, Dominic Cruz, try that one.
I mean, that would have been great. I would have loved that. That'd have been great on this card.
The thing is, the only thing I'll say about the Dominic Cruz one, and I was campaigning for it as well. I think, like, imagine a lot of what he is hanging on the way he styled on him. So if he goes in several years later and then somehow loses, it's that one thing you've had that people can now take away from you. Because a lot of people still see Dom Cruz as the greatest bantamweight of all time, and I can see an argument for that. You go in there later, still not old. You know, you're just cracked 30, and you lose that fight. I can maybe understand why he wanted a fresh matchup. You know, I can get that. I can see it.
I think bantamweight is a division where we need to not have who's the greatest of all time conversations because there's just not anybody yet. It's just a bunch of dudes all at the top that you're like, he gets a little bit, that guy gets a little bit. There's no one definitive. Like, this isn't, Anderson Silva ruled at middleweight for 8 years. He wins. George St. Pierre ruled at welterweight for 8 years. He wins. Like, nobody's held it and defended it for long enough, to me, my opinion at least, that you're like, oh, hands down, it's this guy. Cruz had some run. Absolutely. Can you make a case for Dillashaw, 2-time champ? Okay, but he's got a giant asterisk hanging over his head. Aljo, most successful title defenses, but a couple of those felt real tight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or, TJ's shoulder fell out 16 times in a round.
Yeah.
And so to me, there's just not anybody yet. And it makes the potential of a guy like Sean O'Malley really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I got Dom. I got Dom as the greatest. It's not even really a question for me. Like, I got Aljo too. But for me, all those asterisks those potential asterisks, they're not Aljo's fault, but they're still there. They're still there. They're still there. Aljo didn't fight a healthy TJ, so like,
you can only beat the dudes they put in front of you.
It's true.
A win is a win. Like, I'm not here to be like grade out everybody's wins, but I know that there are people that will.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. That's the issue.
Of course, but I can understand what you're saying as far as like it's not, nobody's been gone on a dominant, like that person is up at the top of the pound for pound list for sure, type of run and bantam. It's going to be hard.
And like
Bantamweight is just too
I just
hard.
don't understand why we have to do it all the time. Like, I would love you guys' thoughts, because I'm somebody that after every big event, there's somebody that is automatically getting, best fill in the division of all time. And it's like, why do we have to do this ever? Like, give it time. We're like, we're not even 30 years into this sport.
Yeah.
We're not even 25 years into Zuffa, whatever you want to call it now, Endeavor, WME just got sold again. So whoever it is that we're going to put the letters behind it era, let's just give it time. Let's just wait and see. And unless somebody has had that John Jones, Anderson Silva GSP run, we don't have to crown them. We don't have to declare who gets the throne yet.
Yeah. I personally hate GOAT conversations in general. I mean, we made a video about it with John Jones where we asked if John Jones was the greatest of all time. And the first thing we said was, we hate these debates. We don't want to be having this debate.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that when you get people in the comments, it's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
You find people bringing it up in a video that has nothing to do with it. So like, we'll make a video that has something to do with it, and then we'll just move on.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't quite work, but
it never does.
It never does. But yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that there's ever going to be a definitive answer, and people go into the debate assuming that they're going to change somebody's mind. It's like, they're not. You're not. If this person, you come into this debate and they say LeBron James is the greatest of all time, no, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, you're not going to change their mind with whatever you say. They've already thought about that. So
I'm happy to hear your evidence, but I'm going to politely disagree with you.
It's just what it is. I mean, but it's cool banter. I mean, obviously, I've made multiple videos on it just to see what people are going to say. I like to see what people. I like people to disagree.
I don't mind picking low hanging fruit. I'm all good for that. Sometimes I don't want to climb that tree. I just want to pick what's right there.
When it comes down to it, it's like, But Amanda Nunes is the greatest of all time.
Oh yeah.
So
yes. Again, has resume, right? Mm-hmm. I wrote a thing about Alex Pereira this week, and in there talked about like how quickly he got to double champ status and all kinds of different things, right? And put a little like parenthetical side note, the fact that Amanda Nunes has beaten everybody that has ever held the featherweight and bantamweight titles in the UFC remains to me the most ridiculous accomplishment ever that we don't talk enough about. Like, every one of them, some of them multiple times.
Yeah.
Most of them handily.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bonkers.
It's hard to argue with.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Ronda would. Ronda would argue.
Ronda would.
Yeah.
God bless her.
Dude, like we talked about her quite a bit here recently, unfortunately. I don't know, man. Like it seems like when she's having a rough time, she goes out to the media and says dumb shit. I feel like that's what happens. Things aren't going well. Let me go out to the media and say something stupid and see what happens.
Which is just like the absolute opposite of what, if you had a publicist, they would tell you to do. And the funny thing is, I think Ben Folks wrote a really great piece on it, right? She's not the greatest. I think we all agree with that. But she's probably the most important. Like, she's probably the most important female. She took it to a different level. I was listening to something today talking about like sport shifters, people that propelled a sport forward. And they were talking about, did Conor McGregor do it for UFC? And as soon as they said his name, I was like, no, it was Ronda. Mm-hmm. Ronda was the one before Conor that brought that different level of mainstream attention. I know people got in, we're doing the Billy Strut after Conor did it. Stole it from Vince McMahon. Beyonce wasn't posting any like Conor stuff at concerts, but she was posting do nothing bitch stuff after Ronda said it. So anytime you can bring Beyonce into it, that proves you're the shifter and you're the trendsetter. So we could give Ronda that, but that's the argument she needed to make. Not I'm the greatest. I'm the most influential. I'm the most impactful, because you can't argue it.
No, I think she just needs to accept that that's what it is, and just and also be happy with that, because it's as massive.
Yeah. Yeah.
She
Maybe
seems
more
to
so.
me like somebody that is just never going to be happy and will never be satisfied with the things that she's done, because there's always that I want the next piece of it. She's done a
Yeah,
lot in her career in every arena she stepped into, literally, figuratively. And yet you're still angry that people don't give you enough flowers.
hmm
What are we doing?
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't know,
There's
man.
also the element of she just can't grow as well. Like I think the same thing happened in the WWE run. I mean, I don't really follow it too closely, but exact same thing happened. She was when she first came in, she was getting her flowers, she was getting all the attention, and then as soon as she started getting criticized, it was like toys went straight out of the pram, unable to, and then that's where the insecurity starts to show, and it all crumbles from there. So she's got a history of it. And I just don't think. I find it hard to feel
Um,
sorry for her because it is an ego thing, and there are people that were the wrong people around her telling her, "You're amazing, you're this, you're that," and I think all of that buttering up was just, eh.
it's true. No, SAG, he said, isn't that drive what made her who she is in the first place? Um, yeah, but it's over now.
Well, but also she was sad at every point, right? When she didn't
Yeah.
achieve things, she was sad at those points. So she didn't win gold in judo and couldn't appreciate that she was the third best judoka in the world for that Olympic cycle. I mean, look, I'm all for aiming for the stars and wanting to be the absolute best, but like at a certain point, recognize what you have done and don't just lament what you haven't.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
see her ever being that person.
No.
Nah.
There's
I
some
mean,
definite personality defects there.
yeah, for sure. She needs some therapy.
Mhm.
A lot of hugs. Some because and to get out of the limelight. Like she was going, she was out. I feel like she was gone, and then she was like, "Oh, well, let me do a few interviews and talk about what happened to me. They're gonna pay me a few dollars."
Yeah.
No, close the door, stay inside, talk to
Yeah,
your inner circle.
nobody's going to talk about you if you don't come out and give them reason to talk about you.
No, we were perfectly fine.
We were we were good. We had a little moment earlier this year where we were like, is she coming for 300? We don't want to see it. Is she coming though? And then we were fine. Then she left WWE again. She did one indie wrestling show. People were like, oh, that's cool. And then she was good. And then she had to do an update on the book or a new version of the book, whatever it is, and come out and say some shit.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it must be hard being that relevant and then losing all of it. I can get that aspect of it as well. Being that loved and then falling as far down as you possibly can, especially like, yes, just I
The
can
weird
understand why she may
the
have gone
weird
there.
part of it to me though is that she hates so much of it. Like
Mm,
it's almost like she has blinders on to the fact that there are two sides to it. So she
mm.
wants all of the praise and wants all of the accolades and people supporting her, but refuses to acknowledge that there might be people that are like, nah, you're trash. That's what our world is.
That's
Like,
just kind of how it goes.
right? Great old Neil Brennan bit of like, there's 10,000 downvotes on Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, one of the most famous songs in the world, right?
Mhm.
10,000 clowns on YouTube that are like, the song stinks, bro. Deal
And
with
I
it,
think
Rhonda. Like,
yeah, and I
accept
think
it.
that yeah, I think that element of like just accepting that people we've talked about this so many times on this channel. It's just if you can get people to care, it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. If you can get people to invest in you, you're relevant, you're making money, it matters. Understand that side of it. She just doesn't seem to want to accept that like that's part of the game.
No,
You
no,
know?
she doesn't.
Just wants praise.
So let me ask y'all something that's not UFC 300 related, but it is something that popped up recently. Is this kind of little back and forth that's going on with Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gahn? Um, Tom is saying he went on Ariel, and he's saying things about like Cyril Gahn not accepting fights, and that's why people don't want to fight him. Yada yada yada. Cyril Gane comes back and says, I accepted all kinds of fights, and that's on y'all. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, is it? I mean, it feels like this is really Cyril Gane is really like, I don't know if he's scared to fight. Scared is not the right word, but like reluctant to fight, and he's trying to pick and choose his fights. Like, is that what y'all are getting from this? What are y'all seeing?
Yeah, I'm on the side of he's kind of reaping what he's sowing on this one. I think like because it was very, very obvious. I mean, he came out in interviews and has directly said, yeah, it doesn't make sense for me to fight that guy. And he's done it more than once. He did it with Tom when Tom wasn't as relevant as he is now. And he did it with Curtis Blades, same situation. Said the exact same thing. And then suddenly when he hasn't had a fight for a while and Tom is holding gold, suddenly that fight makes sense. And the thing is, I get it from that perspective in terms of now the fight is worth something. But he's done it off the back of losing 2 title fights. And then I think it was it Tybura or somebody? No, it was what's the other guy?
Sergey Spivak.
Sergey Spivak. He beat him and then instantly thought he should be thrust back into a title fight again. And then people were saying, no, you've got to fight the guys who have also beaten guys like that around you. You've already had 2 opportunities, they haven't. And he said, no, that fight doesn't make sense for me. I just want to fight for the belt. I only want to fight for the belt. And when you do that, you're turning guys down and not giving them the opportunity, and then expecting them to turn around and give you the opportunity when their status is elevated. It doesn't work that way. Like, you either take the fight or you accept when somebody turns around and says they don't want to fight you when you turned around the first time and said, you're not worth fighting. And I think and the fact that it's more than one fighter having this attitude to him, I feel like they're annoyed with him now. And they're like, oh, now you want to come to the table. Like, nah, we're good. And that's where we're at. And I think he's reaping what he sowed on that one completely.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree completely. I don't know. We always say, all these athletes say, oh, he's ducking me, they're ducking me, or fans say, oh, they're ducking. I don't know if it's so much ducking as people wanting to be strategic, and I understand it. I think we all understand it. But like, there comes a place, as Frankie is saying, and there comes a time where, like, when you were picking and choosing when it was all good, right? Tyron Woodley is still the best example for me. On the way up, he is leading the parade for people that have earned it should get their opportunities. I've done what I need to do to get my championship opportunity. I'm next, give it to me. And the second he got that belt around his waist, he was like, where's Nick Diaz at? Where's George St. Pierre at? Where are all these dudes that aren't in line? I'm about making money, which, again, fully understand, but it's got to work both ways. And so I think Frankie's right. Cyril Gane kind of did the pick and choose, and did the not pick and choose in a like, ooh, I'm afraid to fight that dude, but just made sure to kind of navigate and curate his career a little bit. Mm-hmm. And now that he isn't the guy at the front of the line, he's trying to do what he can to get to the front of the line. And if Tom wants to be like, no, not you, no, you didn't do this for me, I'm not doing this for you, you got to fight one of those dudes. That feels like a reasonable request from Tom Aspinall and a reasonable position for Cyril Gane to be in.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you say something like that publicly, people are going to take it as, they're not going to think you're being strategic. The average fan doesn't think that way.
No, he's scared.
That's it. That's what they think. And it's the same thing with, Leon Edwards did the exact same thing as well. He bellyached for like the 10 fights in a row that you got after Kamaru Usman. And then as soon as he won the title, he's like, I'm not fighting Colby. He doesn't deserve it. I'm not fighting Bilal. He doesn't deserve it. And it's funny how when the boot's on the other foot, as they say, it's very different.
Ilya Topuria declaring that no one that has fought for the title is going to get a title shot before he's won the belt. When I win this, I'm not giving any of you scrubs a shot again. You had your chance.
What was that?
All right, dude. Settle down.
I hated that.
Yeah.
Speaking of him,
Makhachev's the same way right now, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of feeling similar. Like, They're working real hard to do the like, well, it should be maybe this guy and not. He's had that belt for long enough now that he should have fought at least one lightweight.
Yeah, that's a sad situation.
And it shouldn't be Justin Gaethje next, regardless of what happens on Saturday.
That's what you think?
Yeah, that's what you said Hamza. I thought you meant Islam.
Yeah. Islam should not be fighting Justin Gaethje next. Like if Justin Gaethje goes out and wins on Saturday, great. You're still not next in line. Beating Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway doesn't put you next in line.
So okay, no, let's dig into this.
All right, let's go.
This is interesting. So
I'm excited.
Okay, y'all in the chat. If y'all are listening to this, I want y'all to jump in. Bring it. Why do you feel that way?
Because there's a fight between Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan that's sitting right there, and the winner deserves next. Charles was supposed to fight this man in October, and unfortunately suffered a cut. That doesn't disqualify him. And if he goes out and beats the hard-charging, absolutely smashing through people, Arman Tsarukyan, sorry, he was in line. He went out and said, okay, I'm still at the front of the line. You got to just do it. You got to do it. And like, honestly, I said it as soon as Dustin Poirier won at UFC 299. You do that fight in June. You give Dustin one last shot, ride off into the sunset. All the best to you. See you later. Win or lose. Great. Congratulations. And then you do the winner of this one next. And Gaethje can just hang out. Like, I know he wants another shot, but like, you're 0 for 2. You got to hang out, man.
Yeah, but that's why I was so against the Poirier getting the shot. Because I mean, I know he took on BSD, but I think what he's done he's already had 2 shots himself.
I agree.
And he only beat BSD and who was the other person? It was
he lost to Gaethje the fight before that.
Yeah, and then before that he had a win against I forgot the lineage of it now, but he's lost 2 and 4
before that.
No, he's had another loss, hasn't he? So he lost to Gaethje, and he lost the title fight to Charles Oliveira.
Yep. And he beat Chandler. He beat Chandler in between. Like, I think Dustin is going to benefit just from right time, right place, and being Dustin Poirier. Like, I don't think he's should be next on merit. I think he's going to be next on. We can line this up, and Islam will say yes.
I'm blaming Islam for this whole thing. I've said this before, though. It's like the fact that Islam, when he fights in June, would have not fought for 9 months. And I know he's got the Ramadan for 300. I get you didn't turn up at 300. Totally understandable. He could have turned up at 301 and said he was going to fight then. And he could have fought in the 5 months prior to when he beat Volt jumping off the couch the second time.
Right.
And him just sitting there has created this entire situation.
Yep.
So I can understand why Gaethje's annoyed, because he should have been in line for that fight after starching Poirier.
Yeah.
And Charles Oliveira should have been in line for that fight after starching Dariush before Arman did it.
Right.
But the fact that Islam's just sitting there like, nope. And then,
agreed. 100%. You're 100% right.
Like, Poirier is going to be my biggest challenge. It's like, based on what he's looking for, the guy that's we're back under Khabib's reign yet again. This is what we're getting. We're getting the same one title defense a year, if we're lucky, maybe squeaking it a second. Yeah, I don't blame Dustin. Dustin should take it, of course.
Absolutely. I don't blame any of the contenders and potential challengers for believing they're next in line. Gaethje's case is solid. Whoever wins, Oliveira and Tsarukyan, extremely solid. Poirier, I argued it right away and can connect the dots pretty easy, right? Of merit, he's 4th of the 4, but name and timing, if Islam wants to come back and get one in June, he's the guy that's going to be most ready. Because I don't think anybody's winning this weekend and turning around and being like, cool, June, let's do it.
No. But onto your point, I think like that's what 300 feels like. It feels like those 2 fights are whoever gets the most starching performance could be whoever's, and obviously, like, I mean, there are implications as Anton's talking about. It's like if Holloway can win, for example, it becomes interesting. If Arman wins, for example, it can be interesting. You can get those two together in the meantime. So it really depends. 300 still matters in terms. Those two fights still matter in terms of whoever wins the most impressively is probably going to be the one who is the most likely to get the next shot. But it's like there's a lot that can happen in that time. Like, and those two fights will be instrumental in determining who's next of next. I guess. Maybe. If he's not back fighting again this year, which I don't know.
I don't know. Islam is his just, I mean, I don't blame Ramadan, but Ramadan ended yesterday, right? So I mean, in theory, yeah, Dustin nailed the timing lottery, which, you know, of course I'm all in favor for. I'm all in favor for Dustin getting another shot. As far as like Justin, if he were to win, I'm in favor of him getting a shot just to get it over with.
Yeah,
Because,
I'm fine with it.
Like these, like with Dustin and Justin, they've been hanging around the top 2-3 for forever. You kind of just got to get them over with so you can get them out of the way. And Charles is getting to that point as well. And not in, and none of these are in a negative connotation. It's just the reruns.
I would say at least Charles is going and fighting active contenders, right?
Yeah.
He's going out and beating guys that are in line and putting up wins. So he loses the title. He jumps in with Dariush. Now he's jumping in with Saryuk. And if he beats both of those dudes, it's pretty hard to deny him.
It's true. Yeah. He will have beaten 2 contenders.
Yeah.
It should be Arman or Charles, just because Charles did lose his belt. But he had didn't just have the belt, he had defenses. Gaethje and Poirier have both had chances. And Arman had a very close fight with Makhachev. Well, I know it was a few years ago, but the guy was 22 years old. You can make a strong case that this is, and he's improved every step of the way. The case is there for both of them. And for Max there is as well, because it's like if he goes in there and absolutely destroys Gaethje, then
that
you can make
throws a monkey wrench in the whole thing. I feel like
with his defenses, everything, you can make a strong case for him. For me, like Justin is probably the least, as Spencer said, it's like he's got the least case right now. Unless he knocks Holloway out, then it could be like, oh, well, that's never happened.
Right.
So,
right.
You know what I mean? I've backtracked and forward tracked, and then I'm like,
covered all the bases.
Just have a 4-way fight.
We're just going to have a crazy fight regardless.
Yeah.
Do y'all think that Max has a chance, though?
I do. And the thing is that since we made our video about it, and both of you turned on me in the most horrible way, just like I've been, the more and more I've thought about it, it is, I think it was the speed thing you talked about. It was a speed thing you talked about. And I mean, I made a good case for Holloway, even though I picked against him. I was like, yeah, of course he can win, you know. At the same height, Holloway tends to do worse against shorter guys. Was something that I talked about as well.
Yeah.
In terms of the speed, in terms of the output that he's going to put in there. And, you know, there's also the fact that Gaethje, is he going to head kick KO somebody again? I don't think so. So if he gets it done, he's got to basically do it with punches, and you ain't knocking Max out with a punch. So I don't know. Not one. Yes, I don't know. It's he certainly can do it, and I for one hope he does. I really want Max to get it done. Yeah,
I am strongly pulling for Max, not because I dislike Gaethje. It's just, it's just because of the chaos that it's going to create. I love to see this chaos, and him winning. Now he's got options. Now he is the person that has all the Infinity Stones. And he can do whatever he wants to do. You know, he can take that lightweight fight with Islam. What if, and we know this is not going to happen, but what if, what if Dustin fights Islam in June and wins? Max wins. Now what do we got going on? What if
Chaos.
Justin won? Dustin winning could throw a monkey wrench in the whole thing too. Obviously, it
100%.
hasn't been announced, but it would make things very, very interesting.
I like that you want chaos, and all I want is order.
I want
all I crave is order. Like, I love the main event because it will finally bring order and hopefully calm to the light heavyweight division. We'll get a champion. They can start going forward.
Yeah. We're never gonna get order in the lightweight division. It's cursed. It's just cursed to be what it is.
But it's cursed in the greatest way, man, because we've got some of the most entertaining people in the lightweight division. Now, the light heavyweight division, they just got to sort their shit out because it's weird up there. I mean, I think from seeing the interviews and seeing Jamal Hill, like, I'm starting to get a little bit more confident in my pick. I'm feeling a little bit better. And just so you know, Spence, like, I picked Jamal to win. And I was very, very reluctant to do that. But
I can see a path.
There's a path. There's a very clear path. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it down it. He might, have to pull up because his Achilles is hurting, but there's a path. I don't know.
There's an avenue. I'm very curious. We put it out today, myself and Sean Madden, the great Sean Madden, talking about it. There's a path, but how is that leg going to feel when those first couple low kicks slam home? How's that going to?
The entire path is.
Yeah. How's that going to be?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. My whole thing is when Alex throws a leg kick. I mean, I'm talking about the very first one. Jamal is going to immediately have to make him pay for it. He's going to have to make him reluctant to throw the leg kick.
Yep.
And I know that's harder said than done, but or it's easier said than done. But he's going to have to.
Yeah,
he's got the speed advantage. He, in terms of totality of weapons, he has avenues. Mm-hmm. I will not be surprised if he wins at all, not in the least. But Alex Pereira is also a scary human being.
Yeah, he is. Oh man. What he did to DC, you remember when DC was he was like,
kicked him once, and DC was like, wait a minute.
DC was like, man, I've just remembered I was retired, dog. You fuck me up for the whole next week.
He's one of those dudes, and I've been fortunate to be around him in person, that like you see him on TV and you're like, all right, that's a big dude. Then you get near him in like real life and you're like, this is I don't know if you've ever been to an NBA game, been next to an NBA player, somebody that's like 6'7". On TV, they all look reasonable because they're next to other gigantic human beings. Then you get next to somebody that's 6'7" and you're like, that is a long way up there. Yeah. Alex Pereira is 6'4" and thick as an oak tree. And you're just like, that is a scary human. Like, imposing is the word I will use. Because he's always scowling. He always looks unhappy. And he's just
and it's the massive. Big face as well.
It's just massive.
Face. Everything's massive, yeah.
It's crazy.
He is a very imposing.
But I will say, lovely human being. Nice man.
I can believe that.
Dangerous. Nice man.
Yeah.
It seems like anybody that's cool with Glover like that, they have to be.
Yeah. Like, seriously, I mean, Glover get along with everybody, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a weird pairing, but I love it though. Like, it's so interesting. We were talking about stars and of course I've been working on that video about UFC stars. This event has just gotten in the way, but so one of the people that we talked about was Alex Pereira, and it was just interesting that he's a UFC star. I mean, obviously he is. He's the star of stars, the last person to make the walkout on Saturday. Like, the fact that he's a star and we don't know anything that he's saying for the most part, and even if we did know Portuguese, he still wouldn't be talking. He don't talk.
No,
like very little. It's just
the only thing that you will understand is Shama, which is let's go. And I made sure to like clarify with everybody that I talked to for that fighters only story of like, what is it? Why does he say it so much? Like, give me the scoop. It's their slang for like, let's go. It's time to go. And he says it all the time. And yeah, he's just, yeah. All these people that are translating for him could just be saying the things that he's supposed to be saying. Meanwhile, he's talking all rogue about random stuff, but I don't think that's the case. But yeah, it's crazy. He's one of those ones.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you mentioned that stars piece and the fact that he's a star. Like, he to me is proof that it doesn't have to be all the secondary and tertiary junk that usually we look at. Just go there, beat the hell out of people, and be a scary MF, and we're good.
Yeah,
like that's what I was gonna say. I think him talking less makes him seem more scary. I think the more you talk, the more human you become.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. If he went out and learned, like if he turned up next year and could speak perfect English, like remember when Junior Dos Santos first arrived?
Oh yeah,
really broken English and then did a year hardcore Rosetta Stone to learn English, and then turned up and was cracking jokes and singing songs, and you were just like, now you're not menacing, now you're not scary.
Yeah, it's like you're a lovely man now.
Yeah, you're a wonderful dude.
Yeah.
If Alex Bahia turned up and was just like suddenly telling stories in perfect English, just be different.
It would be so so
it's like when Amanda Hebos told me that Alex was the one that suggested, I don't know if you guys have seen it, they did a picture, I think it was last year in Rio, that event in January. They did a picture where she's scowling, the usually smiley Amanda Hebos is scowling, and Alex is smiling. And she's like, it was his idea. He's funny. And I was like, I don't believe that at all. Don't ruin this image I have of him. You're the smiley one.
Personality. I just want him to be a scary skyboard.
I want him to be a psycho.
Yeah. It's just in there he was born to smash, and that's it. He's not born there to, you can imagine just like that at home. Just throughout his entire life, he's just this stoic killer. At the grocery store, he's a stoic killer.
Yeah.
With his kids, he's a stoic killer.
Somebody's in the 12 items or less line, and they got 14 items, and he's just standing there staring them down.
Oh, I imagine him, yeah. And that's how I want it to stay.
Yeah. He's just I don't know, he's a different kind of individual, but he is a star though. In some weird way, he's a star. I guess his story, and he does have personality. Like I've seen a lot of his videos, and he's not saying much. He just does things that are not what people like him would normally do. And I don't know, it's hilarious.
He's one of those guys that it's the presence of him, it's the aura of him makes him that star level. Like it's just, you get a vibe from him where you're like, this dude's different.
Yeah. You know what? You bring up a good thing, a good segue. Something else I wanted to ask you guys about aura. Is Alex Pereira the only person that has an aura at UFC 300? Because if you go back and look at like UFC 200, UFC 100, you have multiple characters, multiple people who have auras. You know, you had the GSPs, the Dan Hendersons, the Anderson Silvas, you know, all these people that had an aura when you were around them. But at UFC 300, we have a lot of champions, but do we have anybody outside of Alex Pereira that has that kind of aura?
The first name that came to mind for me was, and it sounds like a weird one to say because she hasn't been in the UFC yet, but I feel like there's something around Kayla. You know, there's this, it feels like a big women's fight, and it feels like a big person coming in. And I think the fact that she is, you know, it's, I don't know, she's the only debuting fighter on this card means something. It kind of adds something to her. She must be something. I think it just as a casual way of thinking. I don't know who this woman is. I know, even if I'm a casual observer, I know every person on this card. The people who don't watch, and they're like, who the hell is this? So there is that kind of, that's the first name that popped to my mind. I just feel like there's something about her being part of this fight week that's big.
I think there's a bunch of people that have like little baby auras, little partial auras. Like they're not, you know, they're not McGregor level. Like that dude is just a gravitational pull. It's not Diaz brothers, like magnetic force. But like, as up in the comments now. Justin and Max absolutely both have a little bit of an aura to them. Like they're on a fight card and you just get that extra little bit of excitement. I think Zhang Wei Li has an aura to her. She is just a wrecking machine, losses to Rose notwithstanding. I think Charles Oliveira absolutely has an aura. It's maybe not that absolute top of the line global superstar aura, but he's a pretty big deal. Yuri Prohashka has an aura. That dude is weird. We all geek out when he's turning up. He's got an aura. Kayla Harrison is an absolute great shout because I'm with you every step of the way on that one, Frankie. Like, this feels so interesting because it's a brand new division. We all came in going like, she's coming down 2 weight classes. She never wanted to cut weight. She's never been here. And then she turned up today, absolutely bricked up, like just jacked. And I'm so much more, I was already interested in this fight. I'm so much more interested right now after seeing her be like, oh, do I have to show you guys? And like pulled the jacket open and she's just shredded.
You're shredded.
Just crazy. And then like, you know, Renato Moicano has an aura to him. Jessica Andrade has an aura to her. Bobby Green has an aura to him. For this week, at least, Jim Miller has an aura to him. Normally, no. And he'll be the first to tell you, so he won't get mad at me for saying that. As Western mass climber, Alexander Rakic, aura, no. Agreed. No aura.
Yeah.
But like, I think there's a bunch of people that have some. And this card, I talked to Jimmy about this when we put together the piece of like, what's it mean to be on 100, 200, 300? And I think more than any other card, the thing he said is correct. This isn't a card. These aren't cards that are put together based on, we got to get somebody a fight, or these are the people that are available, right? These things are curated. These are handcrafted, selected, and if you're here, it's for a reason. And so for the most part, a bunch of these dudes have, like Davison Figueiredo has an aura, tiny little hellion that wants to just rip the head off people.
Little hairdresser aura. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think there's a bunch. I think Alex Pereira is the only like apex level aura, but there's a whole bunch of people behind him where it's like, good Lord, this is going to be amazing. Can't wait.
Yeah.
He's too Western.
That's just so wrong.
Something wrong with you, bro.
So wrong.
Right.
So I know you got to jump, Spence, but anything you want to say to the people, where to find you, anything like that, before you get out of here?
Give it a couple weeks, but follow me on Twitter at Spencer Kite. My name is in the Twitter streets way too much right now. I kind of went bonkers yesterday morning. I didn't even touch on it. I was like, I know.
leave it alone.
I'm gonna get through this week, and then I'm taking 2 weeks off to just like chill out, hang out with my wife, work on some stuff around the house. But come back when the UFC comes back, and I'll be behaving. I'll be a good boy. I won't be getting in fights with people. Yeah, at Spencer Kite, Twitter and Instagram. That's where you'll find me. I'll be up in these streets though. Anytime you want me, man. I appreciate it.
Hey man, I appreciate you jumping on too.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right,
boys. Be good.
Try.
Man, yeah. When he decides to tell that story, like we talked about it like before we jumped on, and he was like, I don't know if I want to go through all that again. Like, but when he does,
I'm looking forward to it because I don't know what it is either. You were gonna tell me, and I was like, let's save it for the live stream. And I'm like, damn, okay.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to go through it.
Yeah.
If you go follow him on Twitter, you can find out what it is, though. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he's a great Twitter follow. I just want to say one thing before we get into the rest of the fights.
Yeah.
Congratulations on 1,000, brother.
Oh man, I appreciate it, dude. I appreciate it, man. Dude, like
that is huge. I was so excited when I saw it. It's like what we said we were gonna. I wanted to say it before we went on air. Just say, just as a sidebar, nice one, bro. And I thought, nah, you're much better if I just say it to you right here now.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, dude. Because I mean, you're a big part of it for sure. Helping me, like, shoot, when we started doing stuff together, like I was probably like Not even close to this. I don't think I wasn't even halfway. So, but yeah, it definitely means a lot for sure. Like this is like the milestone that the first milestone that people try to get to. So
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it was never even like 500 or for what, even when I started, it sounds ridiculous when you start out, but it's like, just really want to get to that 1,000. That's what it's going to really feel like I'm here.
it sounds like such a
Um,
massive number too. Like, oh,
it's
it's a
such a
big
massive
number.
number. I mean, I've told you this many times. When I wake up sometimes and I've got one new subscriber, I'm like, what a beautiful day this is. The sun is shining through the window.
Yeah.
One does that to me.
So
Still, I don't want to ever lose that.
any of y'all that have channels in the chat, like y'all know how it feels. Like when you get just one new sub, and you're like, I did it. I did
I
it.
did it. Yes, something I did when I was sleeping was worthwhile. Somebody found something that was like, I like this and I want to stay.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a real
crazy.
nice feeling.
It
Yeah.
really is. It really is. So we
Yeah,
got some, and that's marker number one. We need another one, and then we got something really cool for y'all after that. But
yeah.
let's jump into these fights, man. Let's
Yeah, I'm
see.
looking forward to talking about these live. I've still got because I've had a few wobbles over this week. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There's a few fighters that I picked in the which I mean the videos are coming out as we speak. I had 5 come out yesterday. I think I've only had 1 come out today, but there's 3 more tonight. They're all lined up already, and I'm already having wobbles before they even come out. I'm like, oh shit, no, maybe. Yeah,
I mean, it's a tough card, man.
very tough.
Let's see. All right. So we were talking about this one already.
Hmm.
So yeah, the Bobby Green, Jim Miller one. Like I think I picked Jim Miller.
Yeah,
Did you pick Bobby?
I did. I picked Bobby. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like outrageously confident on it, but I haven't wavered on this one. I do think, and then I know because I was making like a Jimmy Miller highlights video earlier on for UFC 300, which is something people are going to get to enjoy. I hope.
Mhm.
But no, it's just like I feel like Bobby Green's going to get this done. Like I know he got chinned out recently, but I feel like he's got the takedown defense. I feel like he's got the speed. I feel like he's got the striking advantage to get this done. And I think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna starch Jim Miller out. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking 2 rounds to 1, just landing more than Jim does, and just yeah, getting that UD win. That's what I'm expecting from Bobby Green. Tough fight odds though. I mean, minus 180 is not very appealing, I would say.
No, it's not. No, it isn't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's the baby aura of Jim Miller at you know, these 100, 200, 300 cards, but like, it's hard for me to go against him. And I like Bobby Green a lot.
And it would probably feel bigger if Jim Miller won, just because you feel like he could possibly retire if he wins or loses. So it's like,
Well, he said that his press conference, like somebody was asking him, so is it a possibility? He didn't even let them finish. He was like, no,
wow, I
no,
didn't realize that.
absolutely not. So yeah, he's not win or lose. He's not retiring.
Do you think they'll make him retire if he loses? Well, not make him retire, but the fight offers won't be coming in as readily.
I think that the fight offer is already kind of handpicked a little bit to put him against people who,
Because
we
there's
don't
so
want
many people you can fight. You
we
could
don't
do
want to throw
Paddy.
him up against Drew Dober, like that
Hmm.
doesn't seem right. But not to say that he can't beat Drew Dober, because I think he could. He could. But if he loses, it would be like bad. It would be really bad.
Yeah.
So
If he loses to Bobby Green, he's going to be facing a lot of people undesirables. He could be anyway, but like you feel like it would be worse for him because he's going to get
yeah.
those young killers coming up that just aren't going to want to play around and add him to the you know.
Well, I mean, Bobby Green, 37. He's not young
Bobby
either.
Green. I don't know because I was watching the Miller and Gabriel Benitez fight earlier today, and the thing is,
Mhm.
he won the fight, and there were things he
Okay.
did really well. The double leg he got was really nice. He obviously latched him up. but he looked slow to me. Like, because obviously I've got this fresh in my mind because I did the highlights today. I've seen the highlights of Jim Miller coming all the way up.
Yeah.
I've literally watched every fight of his today, and it was like you can see that there's certainly in the last two. I'm like, ugh. Well, not obviously the what was it, Jesse Butler? We didn't see enough of him to know how much he'd slowed down in that one because he'd starched him out in like 8 seconds.
Yeah,
But
sure. He did.
the one against Gabriel Benitez particular, I was like, yeah, he did look a touch slower, and that's why I feel more confident in picking Green. I don't know why. I mean, after he got his face turned to mushy
I don't know,
peas.
man. I don't trust Green's beard. That's what I don't trust.
Yeah, the
I
beard.
never
That
trust
beard
his
doesn't.
beard.
That beard doesn't look like you can. You should have a beard. I think if you can grow a beard that massive, I'd be doing that as a fighter all day long. It's extra
Yeah,
cushion. Extra
yeah.
cushion for that chin.
Get you one of them Curtis Blade beards.
Oh hell yeah!
Mhm.
That's the ironic considering he gets chinned out regardless of the beard or not.
It's true.
But it's doesn't seem
It
to
don't
help him
matter.
much. But that's the first thing I do.
Oh,
I throw myself a nice bird's nest for protection, like a free helmet. It's like a free chin helmet.
dude, Mikey just came in here just on fire. He came here, he said, I don't trust Green's kissy face he's making. He is making kind of a kissy face, ain't he?
He does. Green's a weird guy. Green is
He
a
is.
strange individual.
He's
We'll put
very
it that way.
strange.
He's a strange guy.
I don't know. I think it's just nostalgia. That's why I'm going with Jim. I mean, to me, it's a very close fight. They're very even fighters. So
And the thing is, they're so different because, like I said, again, looking at the highlights, it's like Jim Miller has more ways to win. You can
yeah,
definitely argue that. He definitely does. I just don't like him in a striking match with Bobby, and I think that's where it's mostly going to take place.
yeah. I think that if he's able to cut off the ability for Bobby to escape and make him, be against the fence and have to use his Philly shell and roll and all that, then he's going to be, put Bobby in a bad position. But if Bobby stays in open space, he's not going to beat Bobby in open space.
I don't see it. I don't see that either. Yeah, and I said it about Bobby Green's takedown defense. I think his takedown defense is good,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think that that's where Miller's got to win the fight. And
Yeah.
can we see Miller latching up a limb? No. I don't know. It's a tough one to pick. And I think if you're somebody who's an underdog, who's somebody who likes a good underdog, you go Jim Miller.
Yeah.
Because it is a very close fight. I feel Bobby Green's gonna win. I'm not putting money on it. If you're somebody who's like, I like it, and I know Mikey's one of those people who's like, I prefer to just boost the odds, take a chance on someone who's an underdog, which again we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
With our $1 bets we've got coming up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to talk about that.
We do. So moving on to Mr. Andrade against Marina Rodriguez.
Senor Andrade. Yes, let's talk about him.
You still see this the same?
This is one I'm wobbling on a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I still think Andrade is gonna win, but I am faltering a bit.
Is it because you went back and looked at some of Rodriguez's stuff, or?
Partially, but the thing is, yeah, one thing I do whenever I make a prediction video, I don't look at any other YouTube prediction videos before I make mine because I don't want to be influenced. I don't want to be repeating what people are saying.
Yeah.
You know how that can often happen where you watch a whole load of videos and then you don't realize, or you put it in the back of your mind, and then you find you're echoing what people are saying.
Yep.
So I try to avoid that. But as soon as it's done, as soon as they're recorded and they're up there, I'm like, right, okay, I'll jump on and see what other people are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in those moments that I'm like, I didn't consider that. Or or I thought about that, but I didn't really place that much emphasis on it. And now it's like, oh shit, like that's a good point. And then so I think it's more with I do think I'm sticking by Andrade, but I'm a bit more wobbly on it than I was. And again, this isn't what I'm betting on, and this is pretty evens, right? I think Mariana's the slight favorite, possibly. I'm not sure.
So I've seen that Jessica's the slight favorite, but it's really kind of pick 'em for the most part.
Depends where you go as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, even from that, it's like you can make very good money on Andrade, but I don't trust her. I mean, she's been obliterated in the last 3 of her last 4 fights.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm still in the same place. I don't know what Jessica's going to show up. If she's going to come with this, I got to knock her out, line of thinking, like that's not going to go well. Because Marina is very good at just staying on the outside and just peppering you. And she's got long arms. She's 5'6". Like,
Yeah,
it'll be an issue. I mean, and plus Marina, recently fought somebody who was much shorter than her when she fought Michelle Watterson and destroyed her life. So
it's a different situation, I suppose, because obviously Andrade's that powder keg. But like what you said, what makes Marina so hard to pick for or against is she's had a very strange UFC career.
Yeah.
She beat Yan Xiaonan.
Yeah.
And then she gets completely out-grappled and destroyed by Verna Jandiroba. And there were times on the feet where she didn't look that great either. And it's like, who are you? Like, which person is going to... And I think the age is part of it as well. Andrade is seasoned in the game, but she's 32 years old. Mariana's almost turning 37 when she takes this fight. So it's...
Yeah.
I'm sticking with Andrade, but I'm not confident enough to say, speaking of confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. You're right, Mikey. Jandy is... I learned my lesson.
No, I like Jandiroba a lot. I'm not saying that loss was bad because I picked Jandiroba to win the last one as well against Lupi. Or I don't know if I went as far as to say she's going to win, but I'm going to say I think she's going to lose, but it's going to be she should have won. It's going to be one of those robbery ones.
Yeah.
And because I like Jandiroba a lot, but
yeah, she's... I mean, her striking is coming together. That's always been the knock on her. Like, her grappling has always been top notch, but
yeah,
she's starting to put her hands together, and that's scary for the division for sure.
If you just beat Yan Xiaonan, you expect to beat Verna Jandiroba.
Yeah.
What my point was it's that element to it. It's like, yeah,
sure.
That loss kind of felt good. She was probably going into it thinking this is an easy win. She found out, as in Marina did.
And speaking of using your reach against a grappler, you got Jalen Turner against Renato Moicano.
I want to know what Mikey thinks about this as well. I want to know what everyone thinks about this.
Yeah. I'm curious what everybody thinks, because I think this is another one where you're going with Moicano, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Turner, but I can see how Moicano can get it done, man. I can definitely see. All he has to do is he can get inside by using his face, and he does this a lot. He just gets punched in the face while he's walking forward and walks directly into range and grabs them.
Yes. I don't know if you want to do that against Turner necessarily, but that's the thing. It's like Turner's better. His power comes from his length. Like when he's able to move forward but keep his head back, kind of tip back. But so I'm thinking that Moicano's going to have to take a few. He's going to have to take it, and the knees up the middle are another thing that are concerning to me as well. Because if Moicano goes down too low and gets timed badly, you could take a chin, and you get a chin to the face from Turner, you're going to sleep. Or a knee to the face, rather.
So who hits harder, Drew Dober or Jalen Turner?
I think it's debatable. A lot of people will say Turner, and I get that. Drew can crack. Drew is known as kind of like, but it's the fact that it's just a different. It's not the power that's really. It's where it's coming from.
Yeah,
that is the issue. It's a completely different situation because Turner can do it from far away. Drew's got to get in and phone booth you and hit you. Whereas, and I think again the reason why I'm Turner, I just think about the fighters he's fought, right? He tends to beat the fuck out of guys that are small, stocky, that kind of style. Whenever he comes up against somebody with a little bit of length, he finds some issues. And again, it's the tank. So, and Moicano, he's not the best striker in the world, but I don't think he's horrible. And he's got length to him. Yeah. He's only a few inches, I mean, he's 4 inches shorter than Jalen, which I think could work for him. But like, and again, I think I have to cite the Guru's opinion on this one. A lot of people are talking about he's got to take Jalen Turner down. Not necessarily. He just got to get his back. He gets behind him. He doesn't have to double leg him and get
the whole fight if he gets behind him.
That's the thing. If he gets onto his back, if he finds a way to just clinch with him and get to the back, that could be another avenue that could work for him as well. Because Moicano's jiu-jitsu is really, really good.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to get cracked, I feel. There's going to be that moment in the first round when he gets absolutely smashed with something. And the question is, does he fold right then and there or not? And that's where the fight gets won or lost for me. Yeah. I'm going to ride with Moicano because I like him, and I can see avenues for him to win. I just think it's better for the division if he wins. So I'm going, yeah.
Interesting.
That's where I'm at.
So you still going with Diego Lopez over Sadiq Youssef?
I picked Sadiq Youssef. I was on your train.
Okay.
We had a royal flush with Sadiq, which I'm spoiling already because actually now that video came out already. The Sadiq Youssef video came out already earlier on, so I can say this with immunity now. I was going to pick Diego Lopez the whole way up. So when the fight was announced, I was like, Diego Lopez got this. I would have picked Diego Lopez against the Hulk. That's how high I am on Diego. I think he's amazing. But looking at the way but again, it was watching the tape. It was watching the tape again and seeing he doesn't take people down. So that means he's gonna, and again, he only uses defensive jiu-jitsu off his back. Yeah. So it's like Sadiq is not going to take him down. He's not going to clinch with him. He's going to try and make this a striking match. And I think Sadiq Youssef is the better striker. I really do. I think Lopez he's got power. That's not his main weapon. And I feel like he's because he's got so much confidence in it now because he's chinned 2 people out in a row. He's going to try and do that with Sadiq, and he's going to suddenly be like, oh shit, this guy's fast. He's popping my chin back.
Sadiq is very, very fast.
And accurate.
Very fast.
I mean, the Sadiq Youssef, you said it as well, the Sadiq Youssef we saw for that first 2.5 rounds against Barbosa he looked elite level. He looked like he could go in there with anyone and do that.
Yeah. I think that he fixes those issues in this fight.
Yeah. So that's the thing is, again, it's not one that I feel comfortable betting on. I'm saying Youssef's going to win. And again, if you're an underdog better, Youssef is a live dog to take. It's that situation. It's more of I'm going to take a risk on it because the odds are so good.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd play Youssef. But like for me, I'm not a risk taker when it comes to gambling. I don't play that game. Yeah, I'm a small margins, big bet type person. Like I'll because I can at least justify it in my mind when the money goes down the pan. I'm like, well, he should have won. Whereas it's like, I'm not a major underdog follower. It's not my game. But a lot of people are. You get 2 types of gamblers. It's the safety first or the let's just let it ride, go wild. Let's see what we can find from this.
So check this. I don't know if you've seen this picture, but check this picture out.
I did. She looks yoked,
dude.
So this picture was taken yesterday, right? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Man,
she looks like, oh my god. For anyone who was like, see, I'm feeling very good right now, my friend. Because I've been on, for some reason, I woke up one morning and I was like, I'm going to back Kayla all the way. I'm just going to go like fully in on this. I'm going to put my entire reputation on the line, and I'm going to say that she not just makes the weight, but looks fantastic and is champion within a year.
Yeah. If she makes the weight, dude, that's been my only thing is, can she make the weight and make it consistently? And that's, if she is close to weight in this picture, I don't expect her to be on weight right here. We haven't done the weight cut yet. But if she's close, she's going
I'm
to be a
assuming she's
major,
close.
major problem for this division.
I did hear things come out that she was floating in and around 142 or something at the moment.
Dude, if that's where she's at, she's going to waltz into this weight cut.
Yep.
Ooh, I know she's
Yeah, because I
starting.
think there's a lot of people going to be. I think she's kind of. I think that's part of the reason why she's keeping things close to the chest as well, because it's like a lot of people are going to be tuning in just for her. And we said this as well. The most traffic I've had have been about Kayla videos. Oddly enough,
Yeah. Matter of
it's
fact,
interesting.
the video that's coming out, I think the second part of the awards that we did, like I got her on the cover. Like
Yeah,
I'm,
good,
I'm,
good
I'm reading
choice.
between the lines on this one.
People are interested. People want. I mean, I didn't believe this, but people want a female star. They want somebody to watch in women's MMA.
Yeah.
It's not people just complaining and being like, I fucking hate watching women fight. It's like, can we just please have some good ones? The ones that are just worth, we're gonna get a few on this card
Yep.
for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, you've got her smushing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Check this one out. Did you see this one?
No, I mean he always looks good. He does look a bit thicker for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Aljo always comes in there looking making me jealous.
He looks thicker here. Like
Yes,
that. Yeah.
he does look I picked him as well. And I was the only one who picked him, by the way.
Yeah. I'm still going Calvin. But I don't think it's going to be, just he's not going to go in there and just destroy Aljo.
No.
I don't see that, but I do think that he finds a way to win it. But Aljo looks like he's suited for this division.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think he's ready. I think Aljo's coming in there ready. He's been preparing for this for a while.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be A-okay. Personally.
Yeah.
I like Aljo in this. I don't think he's gonna win it in a fun way. I think it's gonna be, like I said, fucking boring.
Yeah.
He'll do it. I think he'll get it done. Yeah.
Mikey said he's going to stand by his original pick at least until he sees Kayla weigh in. I mean, I understand that.
Mikey was messaging me 3 months ago saying I'm taking Holly Holm to win this, and he said he's gonna bang her out. She's gonna bang her out. I mean, CJ agreed the same thing, right?
Yeah.
CJ's pretty confident that Holly's gonna win.
She is
Not supremely confident, but like pretty confident.
I'm not, and it's not the reason that I'm thinking that she was going to lose is not necessarily Kayla related. It's just the output that she has. I just don't see it. I don't see the level of output. And her style of fighting has changed, where she uses her grappling, which is cool, but you're not going to be able to do that here because you using your grappling is just going to put you in a position to get reversed by somebody who's a better grappler.
Yeah.
And when she's on the feet, like she's inactive.
Stay at range. Yeah, she needs to keep her arms out and move constantly. Because as soon as Kayla grabs her, she's fucking finished. She's gonna get dunked. Because it's the if you watch Kayla's wrestling, it's not a case of I'll grab a leg and she blasts into you. There's like she goes in like a Mack truck. There's no pity pattering around. She goes in with ferocity.
Yeah.
We all know the last few pounds are the worst. Yeah.
But
That's true.
There. But she's been there. She's done tons of weight cuts. So we'll see. We'll see.
I think she's gonna be all right.
I hope she is. That'll really be messed up for the card. So Yuri Prohashka against Alexander Rakic. Have you changed anything on that?
This is another one I'm wobbling on a little bit. Again, it's it's something that the guru said. You know, this idea of just like Rakic's entire style is kind of leaning back and waiting for people to come to him and then picking them at range. he's probably very, that could be something that could really work for him because he's used to doing that. And Yuri's just going to come crashing forward.
True.
I'm still picking Yuri. I still think Yuri's going to make him play his game. But he could have, because he's been off for a long time. It could be because he was just like, I'm not coming back until I'm 100%. And that's the reason why it's been so long.
I mean, fair play. I mean, that's really what you should do.
If I was in charge of my career, I wouldn't be coming in there compromised in the slightest when you're at this level.
No.
At the slightest.
No, not at all.
So I get it. I think it's the right. I'm assuming that's what he's done, but I mean, none of these. I mean, there's probably one or two fights on this card that feel virtual certainties.
Yeah, here's one now.
Yuri, I'm not like, oh yeah, definitely. He's like, nah.
The Cody Brundage one, man. Like, wait.
This card. I'm really having trouble. There's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm just about what to go for because it's just yeah, there's so many permutations and so many things that can happen. It's I don't know.
Sure. Here's a couch cushion bet.
Couch cushion. This is the one we were talking about with the stick a couple of dollars on.
Yeah.
Because is that factual then that you stick? Is that right? You stick a dollar on and you can win 100. Is it that bad?
Let me see.
That doesn't sound right to me. I mean, it feels like stick a dollar on, you get 10.
It's probably $1.10 or something, or not, or $10.
$1 for $10. Surely that makes more sense. I need to check this. I need to confirm this myself because it's like that would be because everyone's going to do that. It's like it's a buck.
And that would totally move the line. Let's see.
I need to double check this myself because because that wouldn't make sense. Like nobody could be that favored, surely.
Let's see. If you put $1, if you put $1 on this, say the odds are 1,100, like this plus 1,100. You put $1 on it, you win 11.
Yeah, so it's like fuck that.
But if you put $10, on it, you win 110.
I'm not, like as I'm saying, I'm not putting $10 on Cody Brundage. Like, there's no way. There's no way.
I don't know. I think it depends on how you look at it. Like
we can all agree. I mean, if we all agree to do it, we can be like, let's all collectively put $10 each. I'm willing to play that game. Just because I don't want to be the one that misses out and you're like, hey, bro, I did it. Are you betting for this card? Because I know you're not a gambler by nature anymore, but are you going to be sticking a few on for this one?
If I can find a way to do it, because in Texas they make it very difficult for you to bet on things.
Right. Okay.
There's no porn and no gambling. But if I can find a way to do it, yeah, I would definitely bet on this fight specifically. Not because I think he's going to win, but I just can't miss out on this. I can't miss out on the possibility.
Like you did with Holly, yeah.
Yeah, just like I did with Holly back in the day. And I was a little bit more flush with cash then. I had less kids, so I threw 100 on it, and boy, did I make a killing.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth it.
That must have netted you at least $700-800 minimum for one bet.
Yeah. Yep.
You don't get that those opportunities don't come along, but it's just
yeah, Mikey.
I don't know, Mikey's like the gambling I can take no porn. Are you out of your mind?
None.
The blue balls in Texas, ladies and gentlemen.
None.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, you better cozy up to somebody. No Diddy. You cozy up to somebody and
yeah, I did not know that. I did not know that. That is wild.
It is.
But yeah, you got to go Bo. I mean, there's no point. And again, I would say to people before we move on to Armin and Olives, don't put it in a parlay. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
It's just a waste of money. I mean, unless you just like a little low budget parlay that you're throwing together. I'm talking about with coins. Don't do it.
It's not worth it. Anything in a fist fight, betting anybody at -2,000 and above is not worth it. It's a fist fight. He could fuck his leg up doing something, and your money's gone. It's not worth it. It's not so much that I think Brundage is going to chin him out. It's just that something else could happen. He tears his. We've seen it happen so many times.
It's true.
Someone steps. I mean, look what happened with Brian Ortega. He nearly ripped his leg out before the fight even started.
Yeah,
Or ripped his ankle out before the fight. That can happen. I'm not putting anything to chance with minus 2,000. Forget it. Anything on those odds.
Mike. Hey, you gotta find other ways, bro. Gotta find other ways. Gotta be resourceful out here. All right. So speaking of those kids, I got about 5 minutes before I gotta jump. But so we can dig into these. But
yeah, we'll do a quick flyby.
Yeah. So Charles Armin. I mean, we heard Spence. I think that he was he didn't say that he was going for anybody particular, but I think that he's pushing for Armin as well.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard to root against Charles. You know, I say it all the time. I think he's the most exciting lightweight champion that we've had. And Islam is continuing to prove that to be true because he doesn't want to step in the cage at all. But
yeah. Which is why I kind of want Armin to win as well. And every time I bet against Charles or talk against Charles, I said that Charles was going to lose to Beneil Dariush. So that should be any reason for people to never listen to anything I say again. That was I see that as the stupidest pick I ever made.
Dude, I picked Justin against Charles.
Oh, I didn't do that.
I did. I thought it was Justin's time.
I didn't do that. No. I picked Charles most of the time. I think the people I picked against with Charles was who did he fight after what's it called? Tony Ferguson. It was someone he had. Did he fight? He didn't fight Fiziev, did he? Charles Oliveira.
Oh no, not Charles. I'm thinking about Justin.
Oh no, I pick against Justin a lot just because I don't like him. It's more I just wish. I'm wishing it into the world. But no, for Charles, I tend to pick him most of the time. I think there was only 2 times I didn't pick against him, and Beneil was one of them. And I was mad at myself that night because it was the last leg of a parlay. And I was thinking I should cash out. I should cash this out, and I didn't. And I lost like $400 or something. It was a big parlay.
God,
it was a big parlay.
That's
I managed to claw some of it back betting against him when he fought Armin, but I was not a happy bunny that night. I was fuming. But yeah, I am wavering on this a little bit because I think Charles could definitely win, but I'm still reluctantly thinking Armin's going to win with very little confidence. This is probably the pick I made that I'm the least confident on of all of them.
Yeah, no, this one's a tough one.
Actually, almost. I'm going to get to the one I'm the least confident about in a minute. But yeah, Armin, I just think a wet blanket situation is what we're going to see. That's what I see coming.
That's his path to victory. He's got to stifle Charles.
When he started talking about Giddies, I was like, oh, I got like chills. I was like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Justin, Max, I mean, we talked about
this. I feel the most scared about of all my picks because I picked Justin. And again, having watched everyone else who spoke about it, I'm like, I'm feeling those nerves. Not even a nerves. I was like, I want Max to win. And I stated that quite clearly. I don't like Justin Gaethje. Not as a fighter, as a person. We've talked about that already. Check that video out. It's already up. But yeah, I think this could be very, very... Because I don't see Justin knocking him out the more I think about it.
Yeah.
And I think in those situations, and with the height, it's the fact that when I look at the losses that Max has had, they're all to really shorter guy, or not even losses, where he's looked human. Where against much smaller. But yeah, it's just a tough one. I think he's gonna I can see him winning, and I think when he has guys that are his height, but he's quicker than, and that he's gonna have more volume than. And Justin Gaethje's not a knockout guy. And if it goes to a decision, I think Max has a much better chance because he's going to land more.
That's what Dustin was saying. That's when people asked Dustin, he was like, he just thinks that he's like, one, Max is not a small guy, dude. He's like, he's not a small guy. He's like, and secondly, he's like, Max is, he's got a lot of volume, You know, you hit him once, he hit you 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
tough
So
one.
it's tough. It is tough. I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm leaning more towards Max now that I thought about it. But again, I said this when I did the breakdown and stuff. I feel like I change my mind between these two every day, and that's why it's such a
Yeah,
great fight.
for sure. So the co-main, are we still super duper confident on John
I
Wesley? I
think
mean,
Zhang's
it's
gonna win very easily. Not very easily, but I think she's gonna win convincingly.
yeah, I think so. I think so. But it would be exciting if it was a close fight for sure. It would be very exciting.
Yeah. And I do think Yan's gonna raise her level because of the situation. She's gonna
Mhm.
be thinking, I want to be. It's a Chinese thing again. It's like, I'm not letting that woman from that region or that province embarrass me on national TV. There's no way, or in front of the world. So I think she's gonna elevate herself. I think we're gonna see the best Yan Zhounan that we've seen,
Yeah,
but I still don't think it's gonna be enough, anywhere near enough.
yeah.
I think Zhang
Yan,
really is gonna win dominantly.
she's a destroyer of worlds for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we got Alex and Jamal.
I'm still riding with Jamal, and especially now the confidence coming out. I think he's. I don't know.
Dude, he looks
We all
so
know he can do this.
relaxed. He looks so relaxed.
He looks so relaxed, and I think he's better than Alex. I do. I think he's a better mixed martial artist. I really
And
do.
I'm just curious if he has something different in his game plan than what he has said. Mikey, you picking Jamal too, huh? Okay. Um, like I'm just curious, like what the game plan is. Um, because I mean, we all know what Alex's game plan is. It doesn't change. But like, what is Jamal's game plan, and how is he going to execute it?
Because I imagine he's been thinking about how to deal with the leg kicks.
Yeah.
That's what's the adjustment's going to have to be, because his footwork is not. I mean, he evades strikes quite well, but his footwork is not the best at times. He can
Yeah.
be very stationary at times, and the leg is going to be there to be kicked.
Hmm.
So does that affect his ability to land strikes the way he usually does if he has to move around more? That's a big question mark as well, because he's going to have to do something about it, because getting kicked by Alex Pereira is different. Even if you
Very
didn't have
different.
a busted up Achilles, he's
Hmm.
going to kick you harder than anybody else does. So you have to game
Absolutely.
plan for it to an extent. So yeah,
That's
I have.
the biggest thing. He, if we see Alex throw a leg kick and immediately you see Jamal fire the right hand, I will feel
You know,
so much better
so
about
much better.
Jamal
Yeah.
Hill.
Who do you think the UFC wants to win this one?
Alex.
And that's the thing. That's why I'm kind of wondering why they've pushed it so hard as well. Because obviously they want their storylines they would prefer to have.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right, Mikey. You can't read that kick at all. It comes out of nowhere. It's
Yeah.
untelegraphed. Just he
He
just
doesn't.
throws.
He doesn't like telegraph it, or like there's any kind of hit wind up. He just cracks it.
And it's
So
terrible.
good technically. His leg kicks and or his leg kicks in particular, they're so special in how he delivers them.
Hmm. And don't
But
sleep
then
on
also, I think that Alex hasn't.
his question mark kicks are pretty nasty too. They come out of nowhere.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that I think that Alex hasn't fought anyone that can throw hands like Jamal either.
No, not with that kind of power.
No, and also that kind of just like, I don't know. He's very accurate and he's quick as well for his size.
Hmm. Yeah, because
I
Jan
don't know.
Blachowicz had power, but he's not
He
that
didn't have the
quick.
speed. And Jan Blachowicz had a lot. I bet on Yuri in that fight. Sorry, not Yuri. I bet on Alex in that fight. And getting towards the end of it, I was thinking, I don't know who's won it.
Oh,
You
I
could have
thought that
made a
Jan won.
very.
In the heat of the moment, I thought that Jan won that fight. It was very, very
A
close.
lot of people did. A lot of people were pissed. I was abroad at the time. I was
Mm.
watching it in a bar, and I was literally thinking, shit, like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. You think
yeah,
it's going to be a short fight? I think there's a finish in it, 100%. I'd be
yeah.
surprised if it goes past 3.
Very, very surprised. Very surprised.
I think it being a short fight is a good call as well. I think someone's getting chinned out,
Hmm.
or we get a really nasty. my leg's on my leg, and then him rolling around, and then that's it. So I'm hoping we don't get that. That's what I'm saying. It's exciting. Like I said, I mean, I can't be more I couldn't be more and I think it's a great main event. I don't care what anyone says.
For sure.
And it's like what you said, I think now that we're here, people aren't talking shit about it anymore. They're like, this is fucking amazing. This is fantastic.
Yep.
I can't wait.
Oh, Mikey's calling the shot. He said Hill in round 2, early round 2. I can't disagree with you, man. I hope that's what happens, man. That's a star-turning moment.
Late round 3 or early round 4, because I think there's going to be a lot of feeling out from both of them because of the gravity of the occasion.
Yeah.
I think round 1 is going to skip by quite quickly. Again, assuming his leg doesn't get destroyed.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think I went late 3, early 4. A lot of people are picking Hill.
I'd say 3. Yeah. Well, yeah, man. We'll wrap it up today, man. So for everybody that's in the chat, of course, we're gonna live stream UFC 300 during the event. What I want y'all to do is make sure that y'all are sharing the stream, like share it with people that you know, so we can get more people in here, more conversation. Because I mean, y'all know it gets popping when the more we see in this chat, the more we can throw up on the screen, like the more fun it is. And we're gonna be drinking. I know y'all are gonna be drinking, so that's gonna make it even more ridiculous. We'll probably have more people pop in, as far as like CJ will be on, might have Spence pop on. Who knows? Who knows who will pop on? I might reach out to Jillian.
I might try and get SAG popping on as well. He might dive in once or twice.
Yeah, SAG, like everybody, man. Like, so yeah, man, make sure y'all are sharing it out so we can make this, what it's supposed to be. It's a big event. So
yeah. And you have the right community here, you will be heard, and you will have what you're thinking about spoken about as well. But you won't get a lot of streams. So yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So cool. But yeah, make sure y'all do that. And yeah, until next time, we got a couple of videos coming out. I think I had one just drop. You have another one coming out soon?
I had another one come out in the last half an hour while we were talking.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, the fights are coming out. Like all the individual fight breakdowns are coming out like as we speak. They're all sort of diving in. There's a lot in the pipeline. We're doing our thing.
We are, y'all. Cool. We will holler at y'all later.
In a bit. Thanks for watching.